I'm sure you guys are accustomed to that by now. So here we are, and we are about to get ready to go. Without further ado, I am going to bring to you Michael Vass and Gabe Wozniak. Hi, guys. What's going on?
Hey. It's good to be here with everybody.
All right. And if folks are wondering, where is Joe? Joe is a little bit under the weather. And I'm sure folks remember when Gabe was on the show the first time, and I do want to point out right away, I got his last name correct this time. and his show was retweeted by Joe and then retweeted by the Libertarian Party and checked in just on Twitter alone with like 15,000 views. So you add up all the other platforms I'm on, I'm sure we scaled like 17,000, which is one of the best ones in my 37, 38 shows. So Gabe is back to make that magic happen again. Right, Gabe?
Oh, yeah, betcha.
All right. Michael, how is your back?
Getting better, but not quite there. My age is definitely having an impact, but and so is the really cold weather, but I'm persevering. I'll make it through the show.
Okay, cool. What's the weather like up in New York these days?
Finally got to 25 today.
Woohoo! You guys, you like take out the suntan lotion and stuff?
It was minus 13 yesterday.
Oh, okay. That's a big swing, though. You actually do feel that difference, man. Well, that's a 38-degree swing, and I know from living there, for 50 years, it is a big swing when you just that alone, especially if it's sunny. You're like, all right, I can handle it.
Yeah. Well, the good news is the wind died down and it got warmer, so it really makes a big difference.
Yeah. We got dead trees and dead plants all over the place in our part of Volusia. How about you, Gabe? All the cold weather just killed the grass and everything.
Oh yeah, banana tree died, man.
So, Gabe, listen, you are running for. I want to catch people up who aren't familiar with you real quick. You are running for office, and it's the right there, right? Got that right? Florida Senate District 8. And I would like to bring that up to show people. Let me share my screen. That'll be the most effective way to do this. Just to what happened? Oh, there we go. We can get out of that now. Okay. And bring this up right here to show folks what you're doing. So tell us what the campaign's been like as I bring this up.
Well, the campaign's had ups and downs. It's been fun for the most part. Getting to meet a lot of new people, making a lot of connections with politicians and people trying to get elected like me. That's been an experience. You really get to meet all sorts of outgoing types of people.
Okay.
I mean, I thought I was outgoing, and then I meet some of the people running for office. I'm like, oh man, I might be an introvert.
You can't be, right, Mike?
No, that's can't run and be a wallflower. That just doesn't work.
Michael ran too.
Yeah. Compared to most people I meet at like a bar or something, like I'm usually pretty talkative. However, like some of these people just have so much energy. It's like I can't keep up. It's like co-starring next to Jack Black or something. But yeah, then you meet a lot of different politicians. You realize they have three different faces. The one that only they see, the one they show their family and friends, and the one that they show the world. Mm-hmm. Well, it's like with politicians, you have a fourth face, and it's one that you showed to your enemies. And it's strange to see how some of them can really act. But yeah, I'm going to the Libertarian Party of Florida convention. That's in not this weekend, but next weekend. That's going to be in Clearwater, Florida, at Aspirations Winery. It's the first year we're ever having it at a non-hotel venue since I've been a part of the Libertarian Party, which is 10 years now. And it's also the first time we're going to be getting it done in 2 days. So we're trying to be more economically conservative with it.
There you go. All right. So there's the district right there. So folks know this is within Volusia County. And of course, the main town in Volusia County is Daytona Beach up in the right-hand corner there. You'll see it. And this whole this whole area is well, Titusville is not Volusia County, right? So you're going a little bit into Flagler County down there.
Brevard. I'm touching some North Brevard, Titusville and Mims specifically.
All right. Yes, I just want to put that out there because folks. I mean, not for nothing, and to be totally honest, like I don't know my districts. I know this is Tom Wright's district. He's leaving. He's termed out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's termed out, and like I don't know my districts. I know who the people are, and so the deal there is I like to bring up the map just so folks can really see it for those who don't know their districts like me. So this is the area right here that he represents. But tonight he's filling in for Joe Hanoush, and he is not really on the campaign trail. I just wanted him to speak a little bit. Tonight he's not campaigning. He's here to speak as a commentator. But I did want people to know who you are and what your background is as you fill in for Joe, who also is running, but puts that hat aside when he's with us. So okay, there we are. There you go. Wait, we got a comment here. Let's see what's going on the inside. Oh, it's from No Soundbites Allowed. If anybody who knew. Looking forward to the audience chat tonight. Absolutely. Check on in, folks. We'd love to hear your comments. So let's get started here. And I want to start with where we left off last week, because there were two stories that we talked about last week that we told the folks that we would follow up with. And one of them is Chase Tremont wants to put, and he's a representative on a state representative in Volusia County, and he wants to put cameras in special needs classrooms. They had an unfortunate situation with one of their children where in the special needs classroom, the teacher is, I don't know if the teacher is actually charged, but is suspected of doing what's called ASM, adult sexual, I forgot the M, but it's when an adult does something sexually improper with a child, adult sexual molestation, maybe. So they wanted to get cameras in there. Last week, me, Joe, Mike all thought that it was like, spying and shouldn't be allowed. And I promised I'd go down, when I go down to City Hall, I'd ask folks around before the meeting. So I did get to speak to a few people about it. It's by no means scientific. I spoke to a total of 8 folks before the meeting started, and half of them said that they are in favor of it, which I was really surprised about. The one who said no was a teacher, which is very interesting. The teacher was definitely on board with the fact that it's not a good idea, invasion of privacy, and how do you judge it, and who's going to be the judges in such a matter. A lot of people were hesitantly saying yes. Of the 4 who said yes, they're like, well, I know there's a lot of cameras, but so I feel that way in a lot of things. Like people think about that with security, right? I know there's a lot of cameras, but it's for our security, so we have to do it. I'm wholly against it. Gabe, what's your thoughts on that?
I feel like when you begin to sacrifice safety for security, you get neither. I put myself in both the position of the teacher and the students, and also the parents of the students. I mean, do I want a camera on my kid all day long for the government purposes? Like something I won't even be able to watch? Do I want a camera on me as the teacher all day? I think about my job as a beer sales rep. I couldn't imagine streaming my whole day for my employer to see.
Yeah. Now, is there a monitor in your car, in your truck, that so they make sure that you're on the straight and narrow, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing? Do they like spy on you in that manner?
Oh, there better not be. I drive my own car.
Wow, let's talk about kill switches.
But yeah, I know there's a lot of delivery drivers that do have a camera in their vehicle, which I'm not really in favor of that either. But I mean, it's a private company. What can you do? Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a teacher, there's always going to be a reason for you to be fired. So I feel like having a camera in your classroom, they can nitpick at any little thing and use it as a reason to terminate you if need be.
Yeah, good. Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea of what the board would be is kind of tricky. Like if you're gonna have a board, if you're gonna do this, and if it passes, and we'll keep on top of it to see how it goes through the legislator. If you're gonna do this, then there has to be a board that at least has a community member on it, at least has an administrator on it, at least has a teacher on it. It's really a clunky, in my opinion, a clunky kind of thing.
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
Let me reiterate that it's completely useless. It doesn't protect the kids. At the end of the day, it doesn't prevent horrible people doing horrible things. So it's a waste of time. It's a wonderful, I feel good, I did something. And that's probably one of the most terrible things you will ever hear in politics or from someone who's an elected official. And they say, I did something. No, that means nothing. Did you do something effective? Did you do something efficient? Is this actually going to protect the kids at the end of the day? No, it doesn't. Because everything this person has been allegedly charged with is stuff that happened outside of the classroom. It doesn't protect anyone. It's a useless waste of money and time. It's a false illusion of safety. It's not worth it. It's just
and why is it for special needs teachers? Teachers have been sexually assaulting their kids for years now.
Why just, right? Well, you know what would happen with government? It would start with special needs and then go to all the other people, all the other teachers sooner or later. Mike, you have a fan. John says you're looking good. Just want to get that one out there. There you go. All righty. Very good. Yeah, absolutely. And listen, if Chase wants to come on, by all means, man. I covered Chase. He was city council in Port Orange for a little bit, which is like 10 minutes away from Daytona Beach. And I covered him for like a year. And he's one of the most sincere human beings I ever covered. He and actually the mayor of Daytona Beach, for the folks in this area, Derek Henry, really upstanding and sincere, and really Chase will pay attention to anybody who's standing in front of that podium. Deeply religious man, great person. I don't think this is a very good idea, Chase, but the show. If you've been watching it, Chase, come on board and you can freely state your opinions and why you think it is a good idea. So I definitely would like to have that happen. In fact, I probably should reach out to him. So I will. All righty, great. Thanks for that. And we're going to follow that one as it goes along. And the other one, Mike, you said you had a little update there on Don Lemon. I honestly wasn't sure what was happening with him in the last week since we spoke, but you said you heard some stuff.
Well, he's been running around, running his mouth, trying to declare that he's the equivalent of a pastor. He's the equivalent of civil rights leaders, that this is the ultimate infringement of his First Amendment rights. It's the end of a free press. He has a lot of claims that he's making right now. None of them are serious. None of them are real. The fact is, he's trying to assert his First Amendment right as he denied the First Amendment right of others, which I think is ludicrous that he would actually try to use that defense. And there's no comparison between Dr. Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Malcolm X, Mother Teresa, and Don Lemon. He's not in, talk about delusions of grandeur that he has. But he's running around trying to use this to get as much money as he possibly can. And he's making money. Good for him on that, I suppose. But the manner in which he's doing it is horrible. He is being investigated by the DOJ. He has been arrested. He's awaiting trial, which is good. That means some level of justice is happening. I don't expect him to go to, he has a 5-year penalty. He could be in jail for 5 years. I expect he'll probably get probation and a fine, small fine, like $5,000. Basically a slap on the wrist, but at least even if it's just the presentation of justice, it's something and it should happen. And I hope that Don Lemon burns in flames, political flames, because what he did was absolutely wrong and it is not protected. And using the excuse, I'm a journalist, I'm black, because he says it's racist now to hold him accountable to his actions. Well, that's racist or it's homophobic, and he's full of it. That's just a way to try and shield himself from accountability of his own actions. I can't wait until he goes to prison.
All right, so we'll see. We'll keep on top of that one as well. And I know, Gabe, you're really focused more on Florida issues particularly, but did you check in on the Don Lemon situation?
The last I checked, a judge ordered him to be released. I don't think you should be able to use one First Amendment right to counter another. You can't stop people from worshiping by rioting in a church. We have the right to peacefully assemble. We don't have a right to cause a ruckus and ruin everybody's Sunday morning. But yeah, the main laws we need to follow are those of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. And when you break the First Amendment, then you should be punished for that. It's a federal crime, even though the Bill of Rights is to protect us from the government, not protect us from others.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you cut it, it's still a very rude thing to do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we're going to keep on that one too. We're going to follow those stories all the way through to their conclusion. Now, one of the most popular news items of the week happened to be a Truth Social post that everybody's aware of, that probably a staffer of Donald Trump. So if anybody's saying Donald Trump put that out there, they I would say my personal opinion is they're wholly wrong, because most of the time these things are done. I mean, he said he saw it and he looked at it, but he didn't look at it to the end. But clearly, I mean, in the end, it's his responsibility. Whether Trump really saw it or not, or he just is BSing, which he has a tendency to do, is also open for debate. But the issue that I want to bring up with you guys is how the overarching issue is, how does this affect the midterms and that coalition of people that he brought together? That's the thing and if he loses his coalition, does he basically become a lame duck? And for folks who aren't fully aware, he skillfully, Trump, I'm going to give Democrats heart attacks when I say that, he was very skillful in putting together a coalition of African Americans that he basically doubled the vote, according to Pew Research, from 15% up, from 8% up to 15% between 2020 and 2024. I'm reading from a blog, by the way, that I wrote on this topic, just to get to the coalition part, which you can find at chucklongisland.com/blogs. The Hispanics gravitated towards President Trump. In 2020, Joe Biden won the Hispanic vote by 25 percentage points. But when it was Trump against Kamala Harris, Harris won by only 3. So in other words, Trump picked up 22%, according to Pew Research, of the Hispanic vote. He gained an additional 22% there. Doubled African American, gained 22% with Hispanics. Independent voters went from a 9% edge for Biden in 2020 to even at 48% each for Harris and Trump. So that's a big jump as well. Libertarians moved to him because he promised to free Ross Ulbricht. So instead of voting for Chase Oliver, they voted for Trump. And socialists voted for Trump, so much so that AOC went online to ask why they would vote for her and for him. And the answers are, amazingly, it's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. I feel like Trump and you are both real because of Gaza. And another one was, I voted for Trump and Dems because he reached out to Muslims. So this coalition that he put together of African Americans, Hispanics, independents, libertarians, and socialists, he needs to keep, I think, for the midterms and for anybody, J.D. Vance, who wants to be Trump 3.0. So is he losing the coalition because of this post? Are they like, I've had enough, that was disgusting, putting up that post with the Obamas heads on apes? Or is it going to maybe affect the midterms, but by the time the presidential election comes around, people are gonna be like, whatever, I don't care anymore. The economy's great, or the economy sucks. We got to vote him out, or vote out, Trump 3.0. So what is your guys' take on that? We are going to start with Gabe on this one.
I think it would be absolutely wild if, out of all the things that Trump has posted and said over the years, this is what does it for him. Trump has a very cult following, like Deadpool. There's not going to be much he can say which would turn his followers away from him. Anything socially, anyway. Anything that he has to say to be funny, that's not going to turn his followers away. As long as he sticks to the policies that he's promised, he's going to maintain his following, I believe. I don't think the I don't think the video's going to change anybody's mind about Trump. I think it's just another thing that people who already hate Trump are going to use to be like, see, we told you he's a racist. This is why you should hate Trump.
Okay. All right. So it doesn't give fodder for the idea that he's a racist and you shouldn't vote for him, which the Democrats will surely use, or at least they'll test it going into the midterms. So you're saying that's a failed avenue for them to go down.
I don't think that's going to affect the midterms as much as the protesting of Minnesota will. But
okay.
Yeah, we can get more into that later, maybe. Michael, what's your take?
Well, there's two things. First of all, it's mostly a lie. What is being presented to the public is a lie. Let's start there. The reality is there is a 53-second video, which is based on The Lion King and the song The Lion Sleeps Tonight. It's a combination of both of those. And it features many, many Democrats as caricatures with animals. Now, the thing that the Democrats have done is, as they often do, they clipped out 5 seconds out of 53 seconds, so literally 10% of the entire video, and removed all the context. Is it unfortunate and even embarrassing or even distasteful that the Obamas were portrayed with ape-like visages? Yes. Was it racist? No. Because when you look at the full context of the 53 seconds, it was, they just had those animals. You had, what was it? J.B. Pritzker was described and portrayed as a elephant. You had Chuck Schumer was I believe it was a giraffe. No, that was
AOC.
Schiff. No, Schiff was a giraffe. AOC was a donkey. Schumer was a zebra. Hakeem Jeffries was a lemur. Hillary Clinton was a warthog. So in that context, no, it's not racist. It's unfortunate. It's distasteful, but it's not racism. Now, but the Democrats don't care because it's about feelings and it's about emotional manipulation. And all of their clipping of events is based on this idea of emotional manipulation, because that's all they have. They don't have a legitimate argument. They don't have a legitimate leader. They don't have a legitimate plan. So the only thing they have is people's emotions. And so they're going to try and push these emotions, as they've been doing for the last 11 years, trying to win against not just Trump, but Republicans and MAGA in whole by demonizing everyone else. It's not working. This won't work either. Because people will get past it. Once they find out there's a 53-second video, they see that, all of a sudden they're going to say that's really not the biggest deal in the world compared to everything else we're dealing with and what we're going to have to vote on. So I think that's very important to look at. And I don't know, will this affect the coalition? Not really. The coalition came together because there was no one else. There was no one else to vote for. There was no one else. Biden was a brain dead part-time zombie, period, full stop. Kamala Harris is useless. That's why she was abandoned by all Democrats in 2019. She was the first person kicked out of the Democratic nomination because she's useless, and all the Democrats know it. She's not liked at all. She was a DEI hire. They needed her because they needed a woman who is of color, and she fit the bill. That's it. And we saw how she was, every interaction she had internationally with any world leader, including all of our allies, ended in disgrace and embarrassment for the United States and caused more tensions than before she showed up. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to have a big impact in 2026, the midterm elections, or any of the governor races. I think you're going to see that they're going to try and attack probably Minnesota because, again, clipped images and pushing a false narrative on the whole situation. Renee Good killed herself because of her actions. Alex Preddy killed himself because of his actions. Is it unfortunate? Sure. Is there some blame that can go to some law enforcement? Absolutely. But it was their actions that led to their own demise. People may not like that. It's just the reality. And the whole thing really came about because the leaders of Minnesota, we're talking about Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Frey, they decided not to work with the federal government. They decided to break the law, have a sanctuary city. They were taking the side of illegal aliens and increasing the burden on the American citizens and endangering American citizens' lives. And by inflaming that situation, they gave fertile ground for people like Renee Good and Alex Pretty to make the wrong decision that cost them their lives. And they're still continuing to do it. I think that's the bigger issue.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, this is not this isn't going to affect the coalition. The coalition is going to be strong. I'll put out there that perhaps they should go back to James Carville. It's about the economy, stupid. People who thought he was racist before are still going to think that he's racist. And, there have been some talking heads and political people who have said that, they know he was a racist when they voted for him the last time, or they felt that he was a racist, and they still voted for him because they want to put Sally and they want to put their, their son and their daughter into lacrosse and into baseball and get them through school. And it's all about the economy to make that happen. So I'm thinking, if you guys were the campaign manager for anybody in the midterms or going into the next presidential election, you'd be like, don't even go down that road. Just talk about the economy. That would be a better way to go about it, right?
No.
Sure. Okay. Yes. No.
There's,
all right.
There's a lot of issues. It depends on the office you're talking about. Are we talking Congress? Are we talking state or local? Are we talking presidential? Which position changes everything?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're right about that. Yeah, I got you there. Gabe, you got the fans. Go, Gabe.
Hi, Sarah.
All right.
I gotta ask though, have either of you ever messed with AI video manipulation?
No, I have not.
You, Michael?
Not offhand. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're making these videos, you have to use your words very carefully to make everything happen as you plan. Somebody in the Trump administration went through every animal and assigned them, and they specifically said, make the Obamas the primates. So, I mean, it definitely wasn't an accident, but
no, it wasn't.
To be fair, whoever.
But that's not racist. Again, you have to look at the context.
I'm not saying that. Racist is a very strong word.
Not anymore. Not anymore. We see the Democrats toss it around against everyone they don't like all the time. So it doesn't have the meaning it had 20, 30 years ago. It's anyone you don't like. They say you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're an istinophobe, and you're supposed to be silent after that. It's useless. They've completely ruined it. But that's my opinion. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just think it was absolutely wild to have this final say to say, yep, post it. That's funny. It seems like something an edgy high schooler would make in his free time in art class.
I know. What's the thought process there? But I do love AOC as a donkey because politically speaking, she is an ass. There's no way around that. So that one is funny. Let's see. Let me.
I like Hillary Clinton as the warthog.
I just watched the whole thing. I'm like, there's no way.
But see, notice we're talking about the 53-second video, and most of America is only aware of 5 seconds. There's no context. And that's the part I think the public should walk away from with this is you're being lied to, you're being manipulated because they won't even be honest enough to tell you there's a 53-second video.
Yeah. Well, if you can stomach it, folks, go watch it. I had a hard time watching the still shot of the Obamas. I that morning I looked to see whatever, and I was just like, all right, I don't know. When I wrote the blog, I was going to put it in there. That's why I tried to find it. And I'm like, I just can't. It was just,
But that's the reaction they wanted.
Yeah. It's just,
they wanted people to lose their lunch and stop.
Right.
And not look at anything else, not understand the context, not try and find out the details.
Right.
So they succeeded in that, but that's manipulation. That's coercion.
All right, so we got Shelley checking in with thoughts on Biden. Biden has acquired brain injury from tumors and their removal. I saw his election run and president seat as elder abuse. Oh yes, absolutely. We talked about that at our dinner table, and we talked about this on a previous show. And I think it was Jill Biden. I think Jill was drunk with the power. I think she was the one pulling the strings on the Muppet that was Joe Biden, and on the puppet, I'm sorry, that was Joe Biden. And I think that she was power hungry and didn't want to give it up, and they gave it up too late. In Kamala Harris's defense, she's not good, Mike. You're right. She was horrible when she ran. The first time in the primary when she ran, she was horrible. But that runway for her was awfully short, and he did her in so many times in so many different ways. That's a story for another day. And then John says that if an employee of the admin made it at all, made the video at all, like he could have been scrolling, is what John's thinking. He could have been. That is true. That is a thought that was actually out there that it was compiled from other people, and they just kind of put it together. I did see that posited as well. But Trump is sucking up the room in our discussion, because I got more on Trump. He's hitting a lot of high notes, or a lot of getting a lot of controversy. I wouldn't say high notes. I'm sorry about that, but a lot of controversy and a lot of talking points. One of them was that he suggested recently that Republicans should take over voting in at least many, and then he goes on to say 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. We have states that are so crooked in the way that they count votes. And of course, I'm going to say of course, some people may not know that state legislators, per the Constitution, are the ones who establish the time, places, and manner of holding elections. So let's just start with number one. Is it a good idea for the federal government to take over voting, or a bad idea? And Mike, we're going to start with you on this one.
They already do. The federal government already has influence over elections. It's part of the affirmative action movement, and guaranteeing from the courts, guaranteeing the proportion of various districts. This is where part of where we see all the gerrymandering coming from, and this also affects voting to make sure there's an even playing field. So the government's been doing this for a long time. Trump saying that he wants to nationalize it doesn't mean he's going to deny people the right to vote. What he's saying is he wants to make sure that the proportions aren't being artificially tweaked. Like in Georgia, where the state of Georgia has finally, 5 years later, said, yes, the 300,000 mail-in ballots that they received that were disputed, well, they weren't real. They should never, according to Georgia state law, they should have never been counted. And because they said that in court, that means that Biden would have lost Georgia, because it was a difference of 11,000 votes, 300,000 votes. No matter how you do the math, Biden loses those votes. He loses the state. And all of a sudden we have a very different election. The election was stolen based on that information, as admitted by the state of Georgia in the court. So yes, is it a good thing for Trump to go in and to try and normalize the election and stop all of the gerrymandering and stop all of the manipulation we see happening? Yeah. So what Democrats have been screaming to do this very same thing when they had power. It's not a new idea.
So let me turn the screw on this a little bit, Mike, and ask you this. One of the things that we the people often hear is that the fact that there are 50 different elections for the president of the United States, and then of course, 50, I'm sorry, I got things mixed up, but there are 50 different elections because the states run them themselves, which makes it very hard for any other country to really have an effect. Not that they haven't tampered, it's been admitted that they tampered, but they never had an effect on the outcome. And part of that is the diffuse nature. So if the president, if the federal government were to take that over, that diffuse nature goes away. If the state's constitutional rights of time, place, and manner are taken away, and if we're using like one system to do the entire, instead of each state having their own system and way of doing it. Do you think we'd be putting it at risk for greater tampering by foreign power?
The idea that they would change anything is an illusion. In 2016, there was an article, 2016, and then again in 2018, Google admitted that if you use their algorithm properly, you can tweak any election in the United States and put a bias onto one side or the other. This was something that was covered by Wired magazine, that was covered by several of the tech industry, credible industry magazines, and it was proven that it was possible to do, even in 2016, even in 2018. So, no. If you want to manipulate it, you can. And other countries do jump in and interfere in our elections, just like we do into theirs. Every country in the world does it. It's just a matter of how much.
Right, exactly.
So that's not new.
Okay, all right. Gabe, before you go, I was going to catch up on the chat room. It's rocking here. So Joel says that electronic voter machines are very suspect. Yeah, well, I guess they're open to manipulation, and that's sort of what I definitely would be is a concern for sure. Yeah. So Joel, swing back. Would you want to go all paper? If let's say federal took over, would you want them to say, okay, now we're going to do all paper to get away from electronic? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. We have John's back, and he says, I couldn't agree more on taking over voting. All right, he's for it. Dominion voting has a lock on voting, and I've seen in Arizona, voter fraud is huge. Alrighty, yep. So Gabe, good idea, bad idea, nationalizing voting?
It could go either way. I'm generally a fan of leaving it up to the states. I'd be even more a fan of leaving it up to the cities. However, it's difficult to say for me, honestly. I've never worked for a voter poll or I never worked for a polling place. I've never volunteered for that. I don't really know what goes on in there, so I'm not going to pretend like I do. But when we see evidence, like in Georgia, that many votes were basically just thrown away, then something has to be done. However, if it's nationally covered, whoever's in charge has control over it, which would make things like if the Democrats are in charge, it will make it where nationally you might not even have to show ID to vote on a national level. And at what point would conservatives get back in charge?
Yeah, now you would have to have somebody, you'd have to have people witness it like they do on the local level, right? You would have to have the other parties, not just if the Democrats were the ones in power in DC, Republicans would sit in, Libertarians should sit in, Green, anybody who had a candidate on the ballot should sit in. So you have multiple parties either saying yes or no, because the more people involved, the less chance of corruption. And so that would be a way around that. But so you basically would want to get it right down to like the municipality, like Volusia County should be doing it. If not, Daytona Beach and Port Orange, et cetera, should be doing it here. And in Mike's neck of the woods, the Bronx should do their own, Staten Island should do their own, Manhattan should do their own. That's basically the way you would like to see it go down.
Absolutely. Ideally, the perfect candidate is the most apolitical person you can find.
Okay. Alrighty.
Someone who believes in election integrity.
Yeah.
All right. The enthusiasm of the libertarian mindset. It's not based in the reality of what we're dealing with in politics and how we already have governments, local, state, federal, already ingrained into our election system. And the things that we can do to fix this, and you brought it up, which is the SAVE Act, HR 22, in case people actually want to read legislation rather than reading the biased summary of the mainstream news media. Yeah, voter ID. It's a good idea. It's something that 83% of all Americans, no matter how you want to define them, agree with. That would help, and we can't get that passed. Gee, I wonder why Democrats don't want that to happen.
All right, so Joel did answer the question that I asked him, and that was there needs to be a paper record to establish effective auditing. Okay, thanks for that. Let's see, we got John. What's needed is fingerprint identification. Interesting. Well, we're going to do a little bit on the voter ID in a few minutes here with your ballot or a system similar to that. Okay, paper ballots in Arizona had a photocopy ballot problem. Oh, how about that? And I think Andrew was talking about the Super Bowl last night. The game was underwhelming, in my opinion. I didn't watch it. Did either one of you two guys watch it?
Yeah, it was awful.
I stopped watching football, NBA, baseball, all the sports when they started kneeling. So Kaepernick, when Kaepernick started kneeling and they started putting in a second national anthem, they lost me. I gave up on all of it.
Yeah. I only watch baseball. A lot of people think I'm a sports fan, but in reality, I'm a sport fan, and that is baseball. I stopped watching football in like 2010, and slightly because of work, but it was also because of how football was the first sport to really have spousal abuse problems, and they were very slow to respond, even though there were videos of a player on Baltimore, Rice, hitting his significant other, and because it was in a public place, and they were so slow to that. And then the CTE came out, and 90% of the football players, according to Boston University, get brain damage. And I just can't root for and watch people get brain damage, and root for it just because they're wearing their proper color jersey, which for me was green because I was a Jet fan. But so I stopped then. So it's kind of those three things all together. But let's get back to the question at hand there about the ballots. Now I gotta throw this at a hypothetical at you. I know Michael loves hypotheticals.
Yes, I do.
So I got one for you, Mike. And that is is this a bluff by Trump? Trump has his bluffs every now and then. And is there another end game? Like perhaps he's just saying this to scare straight. Remember when we were scaring straight people so they wouldn't go to jail and they wouldn't break the law? Is he trying to scare straight the states to make sure that they dot every I and cross every T? And this time around, we'll go with you, Mike, first.
You mean in terms of the SAVE Act, HR 22?
No, in terms of saying they can nationalize it, is that a bluff just to scare straight the states?
No, I think he wants to do it. Because it would actually be better for the nation, and we get real results in many states, especially the bluer than blue states. We don't get accurate responses. There's far too many times where we see mail-in ballots are highly questionable, not reliable, and therefore the vote isn't. That doesn't guarantee that Republicans win. It just means that we get fair and honest results. And what's Trump got to lose? He isn't going to get elected again. He can't run again. So he's doing this like most of his policies are for the benefit of the nation after he's out of politics altogether.
Okay. How about you, Gabe? Was it a bluff? Is that another end game?
Like I said, what if the Democrats come in power again? What if they control the presidency, the Senate, Congress? And if you're worried about voter ID then, what if you have to worry about voter ID in every state? Your Republicans will never be elected again.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I disagree with that. Well, we'll get into the voter ID, but
that's actually.
I'll wait. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to hit that now because, Mike, I know you had you did a short that I watched today from your show last night talking about what Schumer said, and I was hoping you could kick that off. Are you there? Okay, great. Yeah, so
I'm here.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the SAVE Act, this for folks who don't know, SAVE is an acronym for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act. And it is supposed to, well, Mike, I'll let you take it from here. What Schumer said, where the lies come down, and what the reality is.
So essentially, when we hear about the SAVE Act, which is, and I keep saying this, HR 22, most media do not want you to know the legislation because you can look it up. You can actually read what the bill says. And they don't want you to do that because then when they tell you a lie, you'll actually know they're lying to your face. So it is essentially voter ID. It basically is as simple as, for you to cast a ballot, you have to be able to prove who you are. It's very simple, and it's something that basically every American can do. Only about 3% of Americans. No, it's not 21 million, because you heard from Chuck Schumer, 21 million Americans will not be able to vote in elections. That's a lie. That is a bald-faced lie. The source he got that from is from the Brennan Center, and their article from July 2024, actually July 11th, 2024, said that about 21 million Americans, about 9.1% of them, don't have their ID readily available. That means you left it in your wallet. You have your ID in your wallet, and it's in your drawer in your house, and you went to work and forgot it. That doesn't mean you don't have ID. It means it's not readily available. Chuck Schumer is lying, and he knows it. The real number is roughly about 3.8 million, or 1.5% of voters don't have ID. That's the number of people who might be affected by this, and that's not even accurate. But fair enough. And then you see that they're lying about this, saying, well, black people won't be able to vote. Why not? They have IDs. They run, right. They drive cars. They go and buy beers like anyone else. And by the way, 76% of black people, whenever polled on this, say they want to have voter ID. 86% of whites, 83% of Hispanics say that they want voter ID. And you see on social media all the lies coming out. Well, if the SAVE Act comes out, then you're going to need a passport and your birth certificate to be able to vote. And that means you're not going to vote. That is also a lie. Read the bill. The first 4 options tell you every way you can what IDs you need. And well, there's a state ID, a driver's license, military ID, a passport, and then they have a series of additional options in case you don't have a photo ID. There's other documentation you can provide. They are lying. Why are they lying about this? Why do the Democrats want to lie and mislead the public to make them not allow voter ID? Maybe it's because the people in many of these bluer than blue states that are actually voting don't have a right to vote. And if they had to prove their identity, they can't. So that would make elections far more fair. Schumer is a liar. I say it to his face. Let him prove it. I know his source. I found his source. Thought people wouldn't look it up. I did. I read the bill. Please, Mr. Schumer, any Democrat in America, let's have the debate. I'll be happy to do it. Charles, you can go and you can moderate it.
I will.
You can be there and fact check me. I'll be happy any time of the day to do it.
All right. So I may have missed it, Mike. The 1.5% who don't have ID. What's the proposal to make that happen? I mean, he can't. Everybody should be allowed to vote. So how do you get that 1.5% to be able to vote?
The majority of states have available, and this is a known fact, that in most states you can either, if you're poor, if you're in poverty, you can either get a free ID, state ID, or extremely low cost ID. We're talking about $15 or less, depending on which state you're talking about, to get that ID. Even the poorest of the poor can afford this.
Okay.
So we already have the remedy. It's not a problem. We just don't have motivation for people to actually get that fixed. Okay, it happens. And by the way, 1.5%, that's below the margin of error. It's not the problem in this situation at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be. Yes, it would. What do you think, Gabe?
What was the thing you said about birth certificates?
It's one of the ways you can. Okay,
the
Mike.
claim is that if the HR 22 is passed, then American citizens would need to use their passport and a birth certificate to be allowed to vote, which is an outright lie. There is no truth to that. And you look at the bill, it's a short bill, takes about 15 minutes to read everything in there. It's very simple and explicit. That is a lie, but that's what they're putting out in social media to try and emotionally manipulate the public with misinformation and direct lies so that Democrats get to maintain a benefit.
So you're saying with this bill, you won't be able to use your birth certificate to vote?
Sure you can. If you have no other form of ID, no government issued photo ID, then, and that's federal government, military, that's state government. If you don't have one of those IDs, you can use alternate forms, which would be your birth certificate, documentation on where you were born, say from a hospital. There's several other documents that you can use, like non-photo ID from the state and others, including your birth certificate, that you can use to prove your identity and be allowed to vote.
And right now, only the only photo ID is acceptable, correct?
At this point in time, you don't have to use any ID. You can just walk in and go, "Hi, this is my name. Give me a ballot. I'm going to vote." That's it.
Yeah, I don't show ID.
You can do that in the Bronx right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'd certainly be more in favor of it if it was only photo ID. I mean, when you go to a bar and they ask you for your ID, if you give them your birth certificate, they look at you like you have lobsters coming out of your ears. So I don't see why deciding who the future leaders and representatives of your country is any different. I feel like that's much more drastic than buying a beer.
I agree with you, but the argument is, what about voter nullification of the 1.5%, 3.8 million votes? What about those people's vote? So the bill is addressing those people, like, I don't know, you had a fire in your house and all your documents got burned down, but you want to vote, or your photo IDs got destroyed, something like that. You would still be able to vote. They have taken into account extreme circumstances and the few people who, for whatever reason, decide not to have a photo ID. They are still capable of voting. They're not nullifying people and saying, okay, black people can't vote. This is now going to be a poll tax. It's going to be racial, and it's like Jim Crow, and black people and Hispanic people won't be able to vote anymore. Women won't be. Senator Jamie Raskin has come out and said that women would be disadvantaged and they would not be able to vote. It's repealing the 19th Amendment by having photo ID. By the way, ask most women who are married, they change their name, even if it's a hyphen name, they have to change all of their IDs. So I don't understand how this is somehow going to be more dramatic or punishing to women than the fact they have to change their Social Security card, they have to change their driver's license, their insurance, medical insurance. They're making this stuff up to terrify people. So
yeah, Joel,
answer your question.
Joel chimes in. He says, Mike, what you were saying, that Jamie Raskin, who is a Democrat, says that the SAVE Act will block women from voting somehow. So yes, Jamie Raskin got his 15 minutes there on this topic. So photo ID, I could tell you, Gabe, I could tell you that the ID that the SAVE Act would allow is enhanced driver's license, real ID, U.S. passport, U.S. military identification card, any valid government issued photo ID card that lists citizenship status, any other valid government issued photo ID card, evidence of your birth, that would be a birth certificate. I don't know why they put it that way. That you're a naturalized citizen is good, like your naturalized certificate. So any problems with that based on what you're hearing tonight? Would if you were in the DC as an elected official, would you be for that?
I'd definitely like to know more about it, but at first sound, no, I don't see anything wrong with it. But it just seems weird that something could happen to your license before your birth certificate and you couldn't get a new one the same day on election day. I don't know. I don't know much about this one, to be honest with you, but
that's the point. You're not supposed to. That they don't want you to know about this so that they can more easily manipulate the way people feel about it and to prevent it from becoming law. Because your initial feeling is correct. This isn't a problem. This is not something that's going to deny you. I'm sure there's some super extreme hypothetical story we can come up with that'll be like, oh my God, and that person will lose. Yeah, and how many people does that actually happen to in reality across the nation with 350 million people, 167 million actual voters?
Yeah, certainly.
Voter ID. It's just ridiculous.
I hear you, Mike, but I would say that every single person should have the ability to go in there unencumbered, even if it's 1%. There has to be a way to make sure that everybody can get in the perfect world. I know the world isn't perfect, but in the perfect world, they should, and the government should be striving to make sure that happens. But you have so many options if the SAVE Act gets passed. You have so many options to show. I mean, it's almost inconceivable that if you just go to Wiki and take a look at the 5 or 6 things they list there, if that's easier for you to read than the actual act itself. It's almost inconceivable that you wouldn't have one of those things with you. It's just so I think it's good. The Democrats are gonna they're tight it because Trump's for it, and that usually happens. So Shelley's talking about how she votes up in rural New York. We have to match signatures in the book with the D's and the R's monitoring. Yeah, in California, you vote in some random garage attached to someone's home to vote. Yeah, we have to match signatures too. I know I have to sign. I lived on Long Island, Shelley, for 50 years, and definitely did it there. I do it here too. What is that?
Not in the Bronx. Not in many. No. Not in the Bronx. Really, not really in Rochester, Albany. The blue strongholds. Yeah, that's optional. It's not, even though it's supposed to be a law. It's optional. No, they don't care.
How about you, Gabe? What's your experience? We're close, but we're definitely in different districts when it comes to where we go to vote. Are you asked to show ID? Well, are you asked to sign like Shelley is in rural New York?
No, I go into the church. I hand them my driver's license, and they ask if I need assistance voting. I think I might have checked out a wrong box when I was 17 because they look at me like I'm special needs.
Yeah. Well, the photo ID, you're basically doing the SAVE Act already.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine they would accept a birth certificate, though.
There you go.
That's just bananas.
Not by itself. Not by itself. There'd be other documentation, but yes.
Like a passport and a birth certificate.
Shelley's talking bars. After drinking underage in this bar, I waited until midnight to order my first legal drink with a passport for ID. Bartender took one look and said I had my sister's ID, so a 16-year-old bought my first drink. All right. Yeah, back in the day, I don't know how old Shelley is, but when you showed your driver's license and there was no photo on it, it was so easy to change it. Now, in all honesty, I actually didn't. I waited until I was 18. The drinking age was 18. I didn't really care that much. I was like, whatever, I'll just wait. And I waited until I was 18. And then they changed the law 1 week from when I was going to turn 21. And every place I went was like, you're in. Don't worry about it. The 7 days, not a problem. Mike, thanks for posting the actual bill itself. People can go read that now. It's in the notes. And Joel's back. And Joel,
read it after the show.
Yes, after the show, of course. And then come back and comment on it. All right, Mike, you reminded me. I got to do this. Okay. If you like what you're hearing, like, comment, and share. Get the word out. Subscribe. Become a part of the tribe here at the Opinion Guy, where you see we have a free and open exchange of ideas and of opinions in the belief that as American citizens and citizens of the world, you have the right to hear and to be heard. And that's what we do on the show. So Adirondack is being heard next. And he said, I always had the signature book thing in New York. Well, what part of New York, man? That's interesting. You up in the rural? Rural's kind of big. If you like lived in the 5 boroughs, like me, that's like Yonkers and up. That's the rural part. But where are you? Are you upstate? What part? Give us a county. Give us a big city. Be interested to know that. You don't have to give us exact if you don't want to. I totally get that. So let's see. Let's catch up on some more comments here. It was her 18th birthday and her passport. All right. Yeah. So you were 18 too, right? Yeah, same here. I could drink at 18. Still in high school. I was a senior, and I was out partying, drinking as soon as I turned 18. All righty.
They changed the law on me. I didn't get 8. I had 21.
Yeah,
Except
21
in DC, which was very good when I was in college, because we did road trips to DC because we were legal there.
There you go.
Not that we didn't drink illegally, but whatever.
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, and back then, man, drinking and driving, the cops would pull you over, and then not right. I'm not saying it was right, but just the way things changed. I got pulled over so many times. Yes, I did. And they'd be like, all right, just go to the 7-Eleven, get something to eat, and hop back in your car in like 20 minutes. You're okay. Same situation now. Those conditions, I was getting arrested. So let's see. So that changed a lot. Yep. For the better, of course, but just a point for folks who were not around back then. And we got some more comments here coming in. We got Joel. Joel's up in the Joel is in northern New York, St. Lawrence County. Okay, no big cities there. Okay, well, you're saved. No crowding. Shelly's in the Catskills. All right, yeah, very cool. Yep, I've been up there on vacation a few times back in the day. Cool, love it. Okay, so listen, some international news went down that I think is geopolitical in nature and really interesting. There was a snap election in Japan, and the party that won, the new prime minister, is very much for changing their constitution so they can build up their military. I believe she's thinking about an amendment to make that happen, and with the coattails that she had, it seems like it's going to happen. Now we're going to tell you this has implications because she is all right. First, let me back up and tell you her name is Sanae Takaichi, and she has said that if China were to put a blockade around Taiwan, we could be looking at military action from Japan. So that is an interesting scenario. Was it just campaigning? We would have no idea, or she really means it, but she wants to. Folks who don't know, they have a pacifist type of constitution that was written largely by General MacArthur after World War II, and to make sure that Japan could never do what they did before. Obviously, we're something like 80 years in, and with China doing all the saber rattling that they're doing, Japan and China, who've never been good friends in history, Japan wants to build up the military, and they already have started, despite the pacifist constitution. But she wants an amendment to make, I guess, to even like put it on steroids, right? So, what do you guys think? Was this a positive for the world to have Prime Minister Takaichi win, and for them to ratchet up their bit of the arms race? Yes or no? Gabe, we'll go with you.
I think it'd be great if we could eliminate bases of the military out of Japan and they could start having their own military. It's a lot of the times when we send troops up there, they pretty much hang out and do nothing. I'm for a smaller military, and I'm more in favor of having a strong national defense rather than having our troops pretty much just hanging out, doing drills. And I mean, sure, it's a free vacation and you get benefits on the taxpayer's dime, but I see you shaking your head.
Yeah, I completely disagree. Wait, go on.
Yeah,
I'm not interrupting. I'm letting you speak.
And plus, the people of Japan there, most of them do not want us there. Like, if you're a foreigner in Japan, if you're trying to make friends or go on a date with someone, one of the first things they'd ask you is if you're military. If you're military, you probably won't make a lot of friends there. They really do not like your presence there. There's a lot of issues with the military interaction with the foreigners. Even Americans who go there are harassed by the military. It's an unwanted presence, and I believe it's better suited in our own country rather than in others.
Okay, so Gabe, I'm going to turn the screw on this and ask you, if Japan's military was big enough to properly defend Taiwan in the event that China were to attack. And you know, it's like, you know, many years out, right, before China would do that. A couple of years ago, we were estimating 6. Let's just say that we're down to 3. So in 3 years from now, you know, Japan is at a point where they can easily defend Taiwan. Should we just offload that responsibility to Japan and be like, that's an Asia thing? You know, we're not getting involved. It has no real effect on us geopolitically. Yes, no?
100%.
Okay. All right. User's been banned is saying that the new prime minister was a metal drummer. She was a metal drummer.
That's true.
What band? What band? Does anybody know?
I think it was just like pickup bands, not like named bands.
They never were in a studio.
Yeah, not in studio.
There's got to be a video out there for her playing. Now she's like my favorite politician. Yeah. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. Like Pete Buttigieg used to rock with what do they call it? At the drive-in people.
Who is this?
Or there's these bands at the drive-in and Mars Volta. They have similar members, and there was another band before them that Pete Buttigieg was a part of.
Oh, Pete Buttigieg? Pete Buttigieg was in the rock band? I never heard that. Really?
Yeah, it's like post-hardcore emo stuff.
Yeah. Screw Pete Buttigieg. But anyway.
If my grandfather used to be banned, if my grandfather was around, he would lose his mind. He was in the Pacific back in World War II. I'm assuming what you mean by that is that he would not want Japan to be building up because he had that experience of what it was like. And let's see, Shelly, a lot of kids in my oldest daughter's class are living in Japan. They love it there. Yeah, so I guess it really depends on where you're living too, right? And the kind of reception that you get. All right, Mike, floor is yours. What do you think about the new prime minister geopolitically? Does that help us, hurt us? Should we just back the heck out of there once they get strong enough to do it themselves?
She is reaffirming that she is a great ally to the United States. And she's also she absolutely believes in maintaining the stability and peace of Southeast Asia rather than just complying with the Chinese Communist Party and allowing them to steamroll over not just Taiwan, but that would also be Korea and Japan, who they don't like, and everyone else in the Southeast Pacific, like the Philippines, which has already been dealing with the aggression of China against them. And Joe Biden allowed it because he's an idiot. And that's why Japan's building their first military since 1945, because Joe Biden's an idiot and they didn't trust him to actually live up to one of the oldest treaties still existing right now, which is the U.S.-Japan Treaty of 1960, which guarantees that the United States would support Japan, right or wrong, in any military conflict. But that being said, and their army is going to be completed and being done by 2028, about 500,000 troops. They won't be able to defend themselves against the Chinese government and the nuclear weapons of the Chinese government and the sheer size of it. They can fight, they won't be able to win, and they won't be able to do this by themselves. Thus, they are reaffirming their allyship with America on this mutually significant issue. And whether people like it or not, we are the superpower of the world, which also makes us the police of the world, which is why when we have strong presidents, we have more stability. When we have weak ones, like an Obama, like a Joe Biden, the world goes to hell in a handbasket. That being said, looking at this situation, one, no, we do not remove our bases from all these places around the world. Again, we're the superpower of the world. We're the cops of the world, like it or not. We need those bases because it helps to maintain stability, not just because we have the troops there. It's the impression of us having them there. It's kind of like having cops walking up and down the street. There aren't enough cops to actually make cities safe, but they give the illusion of that safety, and it deters the violence that could happen, the crimes that could happen. Same thing about our military bases. So there's that. Japan loves our Okinawa. They love the economic stream of money that comes into their nation in the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars because of the Marines in Okinawa. Yes, they drink. Of course we do. And there are some incidents, of course, but Is that outweighed by the economic benefit we provide to Japan and the safety that we provide to them? No, not at all. And that's why Japan, they have their issues every so often, but realistically, they don't care. Some of the people get pissed off, not that many. And yes, there are many Americans that live in Japan and they have no problem. It's a matter of how you interact with the people and whether or not you respect their culture. Most do, most Marines do. Occasionally, there are some that don't. And we deal with that in the Marine Corps and our military as swiftly as we can. So there's that. I think it's absolutely important that we must have that there. Again, China will steamroll everyone in Southeast Asia if the United States isn't around to say, no, you better not. Yes, they can say they will fight and that they will defend Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, the Philippines, Micronesia. But without the United States being there, none of that matters. It's the same thing as, Europe is saying, we're going to protect Ukraine. And what's the caveat? If America backs us up, it doesn't matter what they say. The fact is, if we're not there, there is no stability. So there's that in a nutshell. Go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, that kind of answered a question that I didn't know that we'd be able to answer here, but that was when she said that if there was a blockade around Taiwan, that could be a call for military action. That ain't happening because you said it by 28 they would be built up, but not strong enough to take on China. Agreed. That ain't happening on her part unless we said okay, and we probably would not say okay.
Yes, we would.
Wait, let me rephrase that. The okay is coming from us publicly, not from her. She's not sending her military. She, the prime minister, of Japan, if you just checked in, is not sending her military to fight China unless we say it's going to happen, because we are involved, like you said, Mike, and we are the world's empire, and she is not going to tick us off and go do it if we don't give the okay. Even if they lead the charge and we're backing her up, it is definitely not happening without our okay.
Yeah, we'd be involved in that conversation 100%.
Let's hope it doesn't happen. I keep on hearing, and this is the other part of that I find interesting, is as I keep on hearing that within China there is a political civil war, and recently Xi has had top military officials purged, and the military is sworn to the military, not really to the party. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And the person I was listening to, he's an author, George Copley, on the John Batchelor Show, which is on CBS Radio, was saying that the party is not, the Chinese Communist Party is supposed to always put up a front that everything's okay. And by doing this, he's really telling the world everything is not okay, and he's out just for his own self. But the problem that I have with that, and if any of you guys want to opine on this, is that we've been hearing for a long time that China's economy is about to go under. We've been hearing that there's been internal strife for a while. So this could just be another report or not. But it is interesting, just put it out there, that there are some folks that think that China is on the brink of collapse.
Yes. Because they already did collapse. When we talk about the economy of China, remember, it's a closed system and they manipulate the system unlike other countries in the world. When I say it's a closed system, you can take $1, go to France, and you'll be able to buy things. You can take $1, go to pretty much any country in the world, and they're going to give you so you'll get French francs, Italian lira, Deutschmarks, pounds. You can go to almost any, you can go to, what does India have? Rupees. Yeah. And so you can go back and forth. You can exchange dollars for rupees for dollars. That's an open system. In China, you come in, you exchange dollars for the Chinese. I don't know what it is. I'll call it a peso. Yuan. That's it. The Chinese yuan. And you don't get anything back. You can't exchange from a yuan to $1. They're not going to let the money out. And this is part of the manipulation and why they can artificially make their economy look like it's doing better than it is. They're building up entire cities that are empty and are falling apart because they just have to make it look like they are actually developing when they're not.
And keep it
justifies the economics that they report. They are broken, and without the United States, they would collapse completely. But their inflation is held in check because the Chinese government manipulates all the prices. There is no open market. So that's the difference.
All right. So you think they're broken already? Alrighty. So let's go back. Was the rock band Pete in called the CIA Assets? That's good, and that actually would be a pretty cool name.
That would have been.
We used to get our movies from Malta at our drive-in. I am not the most culturally literate person. I have no idea what Malta at our drive-in is. I know, Gabe, you brought that up. What
I said at the drive-in. That's the name of the band.
At the drive-in. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yusuf bin Ban said that we should have let the USSR deal with China when they asked us if we would care if they would use nuclear option on them. No, I never heard that. The USSR came to us. When was that, user? To ask if they could use it. Well, I'm glad we said no.
50s.
That was in the 1950s, huh? Yeah, I'm kind of glad we said no. China's going under is like 10 days too slow, the spread. Exactly. I know, I've been hearing it for so long. Like the John Bassler show is fantastic. He's got really great people on, but a lot of his people have been saying that for a long time. I encourage everybody to check him out. He's great. But yeah, that is true. And there it is. Juan, thank you for that. Corn cobs and concrete is the best thing ever. That has to do with Shelley's comments. I'm lost on that, folks. Anybody want to explain that to me? And it was in 1970. Yusuf bin Ban said that they asked for that. All righty.
1950s, but it would make sense. 1970s, that would be under Nixon. And
that'd have been it. Yeah. And Nixon was all about opening up China back then. So, yeah, that would have been an absolute. Honestly, you play that out. What a disaster. I mean, yeah,
hell, we should have done it.
China, you think so too, huh?
Absolutely.
No. Yeah.
And we could have done it easy back then.
Yeah. Well, easier than now. I know. Yeah. What do you think, Big Gabe? Should we have allowed USSR to drop the bomb in 1970 on China?
No, why would we do that? Why would we bomb China?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Besides the fact that they're a communist nation that is fascistic, they are authoritarian, and the fact that they can't stand America or any capitalist system, and they are working their way towards trying to steal away influence internationally from the United States so that they can advance their own agenda. They're an existential threat to the United States and always have been. I can think of a few reasons why we should have blown them away a long time ago.
I don't see them as a threat. However, I mean, so what if they're communists and fascists? We don't live there. We don't have to live there.
It's not about where we live. It's about their influence on everything with us. That fascistic authoritarian nature that actually communism requires, it has to spread for it to be successful. It cannot be successful if it does not spread, which is the reason why every communist country fails. It doesn't spread, it stops spreading, so it fails. But think about, they go into Taiwan, that's all the chip sectors, your quality of life disappears, and America doesn't get to continue to advance. The world moves on, and we become a third world nation. Same thing with Japan. That also influences not just the resources, the chips themselves, but also we're now talking about energy internationally. Technology, the 7th largest manufacturer of weapons in the world is actually, they're now the 4th largest manufacturer of weapons in the world is South Korea, our other ally. Without us being involved and allowing them to spread communism, they go into South Korea, take that over. Yes, it gets unified under Kim Jong-un and under communism, and now they have all the resources of that weapon manufacturer and their technological capabilities, and we are now under even more stress to be able to maintain our economy, our jobs, our quality of life, our technology advantage. We have a lot of problems.
So your solution is just to blow the whole country away?
No, I'd take out the leadership, and that would pretty much resolve it. And again, I'm saying that as
well, that's not as bad as what I thought you were saying.
No, I don't want to kill the country. The country's, most of the people are fine, and most of the resources there are fine. It's the leadership, and perhaps I didn't make that clear, but one, I'm talking about 1970, not 2025. Very different situation. And I'm talking about the leadership because they're the problem. The people aren't communist. The government is.
I don't know for this.
For it to be
I don't think China wants. I don't hold on. I don't think China wants us to. I don't think China wants to see the demise of the U.S. I think China's leadership, of course, wants to be number one. They feel like they should be the world's empire because they've been around longer. They want to be the world's empire, but they need a functioning U.S. because we buy their stuff. And if we fell apart, if we caved in as a society, who's buying their stuff like we do? No one. And then they would cave in their economy. So they need us. And in their perfect world, my opinion, I did not see this from like a Gordon Chang or any other Chinese expert. My opinion is they would like to be number one, have us be the number two power in the world. That way, in their minds, we're in check, but we're still buying their stuff and their economy still grows or it functions. That's what I believe that it would be their ultimate. All the other military stuff, Mike, yeah, that can happen. I mean, of course, if they're number one and we're number two, we're less of a threat and they could just start moving in, of course. But by the way, just as a side note, Vietnam is worried enough that they don't do it publicly, but they privately are like, hey, we might need your guys' help if anything happens over here. They're looking for assurances from the U.S. that we're going to help them out as well. So and that of course goes a long way. And actually, I'm going to tie that into what Gabe is. I believe Gabe is saying is like we should just stay out of other people's business because if we stayed out of Vietnam, look what happened. 30 years, we got out of there in 1973. And the quick math is what is it? Was that 50 years ago? 50 years ago? 52 years ago? And they want our help now. So if we just stay out of people's way, sooner or later, they're fine. They're communists. They're fine.
That's that's not real.
You got to admit, Michael, we do need
a wonderful story, but it doesn't work. But I've heard it from every libertarian I know. And
I love you.
Beautiful dream. It doesn't work. That's not realistic for a lot of reasons.
Are you claiming we don't need stuff, Michael?
Huh?
Are you claiming
No, I'm sorry, Mike. Mike is speaking for himself.
No, I'm not saying that we don't need stuff. We do. How we get that stuff and what's in the best manner to get that and how do we maintain stability in the world, different process, entirely different. And I understand if everyone was nice, we wouldn't have California. It's just not the real.
Nice out there.
It's not the reality of the world we live in. I understand the desire for it. I understand the impression that if we gave infinite people infinite choices, all the choices would wind up being good. Except that's a wonderful theoretical. It's not real. It's not real at all. And by the way, we can't let China be number one because we would not be number two. We would be number 192 in the world. The only thing that maintains America as the superpower, one of the reasons that we're the superpower of the world, and one of the things that allows us to be able to have the influence that we have, is that the world uses the dollar. If the world is using the yuan, well, our unfunded liabilities are over $153 trillion. It's almost as much money as in the entire world. We would literally overnight become a banana republic third world nation. And that means that we're not number two in the world. We become kind of what the Soviet Union was back in the 90s. That we'd have a massive military that we constantly would have to be using to protect ourselves because we'd have an economy that didn't exist.
We already use the military far too often to protect ourselves.
It is the third largest part of our national debt.
Oh, man.
What's that?
It's the third largest part of our national debt. Isn't it?
Good. Good. We need it.
Okay. All right. So I asked about the corn on the cob thing there, and Yusuf and Ban said, no, in China, they stuff corn cobs in the concrete as filler to save money. That sounds like a structural disaster. Right. Who's eating all that corn to get the corn cob? That's what I want to know.
They use that little corn over there too.
I think so much. Driving movie theaters. Okay.
Listen, before you go further,
yeah,
I know some people are saying I'm based, or they're thinking it's really interesting what I'm saying. I love this conversation. I respect Gabe and Charles. I have no problem with them or their ideology or any other libertarian. I don't want people to misunderstand me. I have my passions for my point of view, but I am listening to what they say. I am paying. That's why I can make the arguments I'm making, because I am paying attention to the details. And again, it's a beautiful dream. Call me pessimistic or I'm just old-fashioned. I can't accept it, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't love it. I just want to make sure people don't think that I'm like upset with you guys or dissing you guys for any reason. That's not the case. Just in case people are thinking.
I didn't get that impression at all.
Okay, no, neither did I. And folks, I mean, not everybody knows this, of course, because most of the time we just call it the Opinion Guy. The full name of this show is the Opinion Guy, fun, friendly, and informative. And the whole idea is to have these discussions where we voice our opinions without beating each other up. And it's been highly successful on every night that I've done this. But Monday night's the news panel night where I have the various voices, and it's been highly successful. Of course, I mean, passion is one thing. Saying being nasty to somebody else is another. So bring the passion, man. That's great stuff. I love it, and we're here just to express the views, so people get a well-rounded. And one of these days, a Democrat will agree to come on the show. And we have a well-rounded. Listen, man, I'm jumping to the Green Party. Right?
Hey, I want them. I want them. Please come. It'll make my day.
No, Gabe, it didn't happen.
Night
it didn't happen because. Yeah, it didn't happen. We were supposed to have Nick Sakhnovsky on, who is the Democratic. It was a one-on-one. It wasn't a panel discussion, and he's the head of the Democratic Party in Volusia County. And he was going to, and he does a world of other things too. And he does cross party lines, which I think is great because Michael crossed party lines. For folks who don't know, Gabe, I know at one point you were a Republican, so you have that viewpoint as well. I don't know if you cross party lines. You can answer that in a second. But Nick does as well. Twice he is supposed to be on. One time I had computer problems, and then the other day he had computer problems. So we're going to make it happen. He's literally going to be here. He'll be sitting right next to me. so it's going to work. I just got to make sure the camera angles and stuff like that. All right. Anyway, so yes, we're going to get a Democrat on here, but no, man, it's cool. Yeah, fun, friendly, and informative is a part of the official trademark of this show, and for that reason, which is old school, man. Now I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. It's old school, but back in the day, people didn't hate each other because they had different viewpoints. Like that is so
exactly
stupid. Yeah. You gotta be mind-numbingly dumb. I have friends across the spectrum from QAnon. We have friends and family that are from QAnon to DSA, and we love them all in this house. And that's how this show is. So it's all good, man. Beautiful people on all sides.
I think they start doing that because the third parties were doing pretty good. Ross Perot, Not long after that, the Republicans started demonizing the Democrats. The Democrats started demonizing the Republicans, and then all of a sudden, there was no room for a third party in the debate.
Just hate each other. Divide.
We need to have third parties. Third parties make everyone better.
Well, I think
it just makes a better argument. You got to come with better arguments, better candidates.
Bring the debate stage closer to the center.
It's just like the free if there are two hamburgers places and a third one comes, everybody's got to up their game because now there's more competition, lower price, better service, whatever it may be. Of course, yeah, absolutely. So Shelly's like, I think we need to deal with our own issues first. Can we start with Memdani? Oh boy, you guys, and Memdani, what a trip. Vass for president. There you go, Mike. What do you think? Is that ever gonna happen?
I love it, John. I love it.
I see a split ticket. You and Larry Sharp.
That would be interesting.
That would be great. No, they want revenge. That must be China. China wants revenge? Is that what you're saying, user? We have
China or Russia. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's a couple of people that might fit that. I don't know.
Obviously, we haven't seen anything It gets past China's firewalls, of course. Yeah, another hard to get information out of there. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, libertarians don't know much about. Oh boy. All right. Well, like I said, free and open exchange of ideas and of opinions.
I don't know. Yeah, I used to live in Japan, so I mean, I have a little idea.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
When were you living there?
I was over there in 2021. I was doing some seasonal work as a journalist. Got to go all around Japan.
That's right.
I wish I had that. I lived in Moscow, in Soviet Union back in '91. Very different experience, I think.
Man. I lived in Arizona for 3 weeks. At Fort Huachuca during my training. Let's see. Mike is so base, and then John said, even my last comment about the stuff I've seen from inside China got blocked. China's blocking the show. I got to check to see if we got into China next time I get my demographics, my reach.
I don't even think they get YouTube. I think everything Google's there is blocked. Oh,
really?
I visited China for 2 weeks, December of 2019, and the only way I could get anything was through a VPN that I had to download before I even got there.
Wow. They want revenge for what they call century of humiliation. That must be China, right? China wants revenge. Because they feel like Japan humiliated them. Wasn't Japan pretty horrible to them during World War II?
Oh,
they were vicious during World War II.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The three of them have been fighting each other for thousands of years. China, Japan, and Korea, they all hate each other. They fight each other on a regular basis.
They destroy their own Hondas in protest of Japanese. We destroy our own towns. So I guess that's the same thing. China likes our dollar. Alrighty.
We like the China money too.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've been banned. I'm with you. Abolish parties.
There. Got Disney in Hong Kong too.
What do you guys think? Should we abolish parties?
No.
It wouldn't be the worst idea. People start thinking for themselves, you know?
No, I don't think the problem is the parties or
Definitely is.
The existence.
Republicans go in there, they vote R. Doesn't even matter. They don't research the candidates.
Well, that's the problem. We need to go back to having our youth actually learn to critically think, to ask questions, and to fact check the people, and we hold them accountable. The problem isn't the system, the idea of the system. Republicans, Democrats, Whigs, Libertarians, God help me, even the Green Party.
Of course.
Which is so useless, but whatever. But yeah, let them exist. I want everyone to exist. I just want the public to have access to hear from all of them. I want them to be the best they can be at putting forward their arguments, because I believe that once the best arguments of the best candidates of the different ideologies get out there, Republicans will win in landslide because we have the best ideas. I know other people will say, no, Mike, you just don't understand. Because they have to, because their ego gets crushed when they find out Republicans have the best ideas. But that's besides the point. I won't even get into that.
Wait a second.
So it's not the party that's the problem. It's the corruption of destroying the way people think. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The Green Party wasn't so useless to you in 2000, though, was it?
Huh?
The Green Party wasn't so useless to you in 2000, though, was it?
They're always useless. I have no purpose for them.
Yeah, I don't think the Republicans would have won without the Green Party in 2000.
Sure we would.
You think so? You think we would have had Florida?
Yes, we'd have won.
I
don't need the Green Party. They are more of a problem.
No, I think Al Gore would have took Florida without the Green Party.
I don't know about that, but we have had a lot of problems with our voting counts for many decades now. So I don't think most elections, are very accurate, especially when we're talking about since 19 since 1890, we hit our peak of participation in elections at 82%. And since that time, we are down. Our average election now is 38%. That is pitiful. It's absolutely abysmal.
Is that registered voters or the population as a whole?
No, that's the actual vote count. That's the actual percentage of voting.
Of registered voters, what's the base? The registered voters is the base, or people over the age of 18?
Votes. I'm talking about actual votes.
Yeah. But if you're saying 38%, that has to be a percent of something. So what is it a percent of?
Yeah, the actual number of votes. The actual number of
voters out of registered voters that show up, right?
Yeah, actually show up and vote. Yes.
Of those who are eligible to vote.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Because
okay.
you can have a stat that says everybody 18 and over, or you can have a stat that says registered to vote. So 35% or 33%?
38% of registered to vote. Yes.
Let me ask you guys this real quick.
Sure.
Yeah.
So instead of abolishing parties, what if you abolish the party next to the person on the ballot? Would that be fair?
Oh,
they do that in Florida. We already do that down here.
Yeah. We don't do that in Florida.
We have nonpartisan elections. Here we do.
I mean for partisan elections.
I don't think I agree with. I believe you're suggesting that because you agree with it, and I do agree with you. Take off there are no D's on the ballot. There is no D. There is no R. There's no party affiliation. Here's the person. Here's the position they're going for. You either like them or you don't, which means you better know who the hell they are. You got to know something about them. I got no problem with that. Sure, do it.
You could also see that in the nonpartisan elections, which might not go past county. That I'm not 100% sure on. But I know county and local definitely are nonpartisan. But if you're a Republican, there's red in your advertisements. Democrats, I mean, there's ways around it. And just their talking points. You can figure it out. So let's see. Shelley blames the media. I won't take offense. Neither will Mike. The so-called news media created the pretend divide. Then they radicalized their viewers. Yes, well, we don't do that here. So you can't blame us. Let's see. China, the century of humiliation. Yeah, that's what we figured. Thanks for clearing that up, though. Absolutely. That's Japan. Yep, it's a westernized nation. Yeah. I'd be fine with a Larry Mike ticket. Yes, of course, Shelley. That would be so cool. Go for it. All right. Oh wait, Mike, you have an announcement. When Larry gets the nomination of the Republican Party, which he's going for right now, you are going to be named Lieutenant Governor, correct?
I would love it. I don't think there's a lot of Republicans that would like it. Believe it or not, I'm a little too, I guess they say, based for most of the Republicans in the New York GOP, or rather the leadership of the New York GOP. They don't like me so much.
I got to clarify. I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Good.
I'm just a little too honest for them. But Larry, tomorrow, please, folks, let the GOP know. Larry's going to see if he can get on the ballot tomorrow, and he should be able to.
Awesome. Good luck, Larry. So anybody, let's just back this up. I mean, we mention Larry every week, but for folks who haven't heard, Larry Sharp is Libertarian running for governor of New York. This is his third time. This time he has not only the Libertarian line, he's got RFK's line of We the People. I know he went for the conservative. I don't know what happened there, and he's going for the Republican tomorrow to get on the ballot tomorrow to hopefully not negotiate, debate with the Blakeman, the Republican, the lone Republican who's running right now. So what happened with the Conservative Party? Where did he go with that? I know he went to their convention recently. Do you know, Mike?
I don't know. I'm getting some kind of feedback. Everyone looks frozen right now.
Oh boy,
that's me or you guys.
Can you see me? I can see all you guys very well. Huh?
Yeah, everyone's moving over here.
No, I can't hear anything right now. I don't know if it's my computer or the system there. I think we pissed off and broke the internet. Oh, there you go. You're moving now.
Okay, good. China's listening.
I can't. Gabe is frozen on my computer.
Laughs in China.
I think China's listening, and they're getting at us now.
They do it to me all the time. I talk about China, and all of a sudden my entire live stream goes wonky. They hate me.
They do it all the time, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We want. All right.
You gotta get a VPN.
Okay, let's do. We got some great stuff going on here. People talking about what's happening in New York, and we got folks chiming in, and then we got somebody from Volusia County right here. Tom's in the house. He goes, I had no clue what you guys are talking about. Yeah, we went down some New York politics there, talking about. But I know we need to bring back beach driving. Yeah, beach driving is a big issue around here. Absolutely. And check out Tom's place on Main Street. It's fantastic. World's most famous brewery. Joel, Sharp and Blakeman debate would not be good for Blakeman. He's not a very good speaker. Look, Larry can out-talk anyone. I mean, that's the bottom line. Yes, Blakeman, Hopel, they're dead in the water if he's on that stage next to those people. Absolutely. All righty. So you know what? Since we're talking about that, what's the latest with Blakeman, Mike? You said you had some news on that?
Yeah, Blakeman is an absolute embarrassment for the GOP in general, and he's a wonderful representation of establishment Republicans in New York. Bruce Blakeman, who is at the moment, he is the Republican candidate. He's the only one on the Republican ticket at this moment. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And according to Zogby polls, 45% of Republicans in New York don't know if they want to vote for him. He's the only guy on the ticket. That tells you something. Here's something else you get to know. This weekend, Bruce Blakeman, everyone in New York is picking their lieutenant governor for their nomination in their various parties. So you have Antonio Delgado. He picked one for Democrats, and Kathy Hochul, she picked one as well. They're subpar people. We can talk about it if you want. So Bruce Blakeman said, oh, I got to jump in on this trend as well. And he decided to pick a sheriff from upstate New York. 24 hours later, that same sheriff said, sorry, no, I'm not going to do it. And so Bruce Blakeman is now picking another sheriff from Madison County. And he's like, no, that guy's not going to, this one is going to stick. I have never, in 20 years of doing political commentary, I cannot recall any time that someone has picked a running mate in their own party for an election and had that person, after it's been made public that they were the one, they were selected. It wasn't an option. He didn't say, I'm talking to them. He said, this is my running mate. And 24 hours later, they're saying, no, screw that. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That is, I cannot think of a bigger signal saying this guy cannot win. He is an embarrassment. I don't want to be on that sinking ship. I don't want to be in that inferno. No. This is telling you that Blakeman is not respected in the GOP. He is not seen as someone who's going to win, and he's just collecting money at this point. It's an embarrassment. This is absolutely embarrassing. But what do you guys think?
No, I mean, I agree with you. That was an embarrassment for him for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Gabe, how about you?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough pill to swallow. Why? There had to have been some sort of talk before that. Like maybe he said maybe, and was like, "So you mean yes?" He's like, "No, I'm saying maybe." And then he's like, "All right, he's gonna do it." But I mean, there had to have been someone that would have been willing to run with him, right, out of the whole state.
Well, maybe we supposedly got someone now, but let me ask you, Gabe. Okay, I ran for Congress. I ran for Broome County legislator. And let me ask you, Gabe, you're running as well for state senate.
Yes.
Would you ever make a public announcement saying anything like, this is my supporter, this is my right hand man, this is the person supporting me, or right hand woman, I don't care. This is my person, these are my people, my team.
No,
and
not at all. That's why
it's
so
100% that they had already said yes. Would you ever say that?
No, absolutely not. That's why it's so wild to me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, no one does that.
They had to have been talking or something. Why would he have that impression?
It's bizarre.
It's astounding to me. It's just astounding to me.
Joel said he doesn't like identity politics, but picking another old white man for lieutenant governor isn't a good move for Blakeman.
That makes sense, yeah. He's right in terms of New York State being a very progressive state. I mean, that's why Antonio Delgado got the pick. He was a DEI hire. It's the reason why we now have, what's her name? Adams. Yes. Her name is Ashley Adams, I believe. She's the former New York City Council speaker, and she was picked by Hochul because they're both women, and and Adams is a woman of color. Also, Antonio Delgado, his running mate, is a woman of color. In New York State, you got to have a person of color. In particular, if you can, you want them to be a woman. And if you really can get this, here's the gold ticket. You want to have a woman who's queer, that identifies as one of the infinity genders that is on your ticket in your party. That's like the ultimate win. You've got all the check boxes for the intersectional lottery. It's like instant win with every progressive.
Yeah, definitely the wrong way to go about picking candidates. I mean, what Biden did was, horrible. Biden flat out said that he wanted an African-American woman, which was basically discrimination against African-American women. Discrimination against any woman who wasn't African-American and every man. So yeah, that was horrible. And that's and we saw what we got. So Gabe, you, when we were BSing before we went on, want to bring up the issue of toilet to tap, which is a hot burning issue in Volusia County, but it should be interesting to note that it does go on in other parts of the country, like Orange County in California, right, and a couple of cities in Texas. And some places of New York, I believe, as well. But some
places in Florida as well.
Okay, and Florida's already doing it in some places. So what's the big deal then if it's being done in other places and people are surviving? Then why is it a big deal here? Why should people be concerned about that?
It's more of a slippery slope issue when you start to get to the point where you need to develop so much that you're literally drinking your own feces to the minimum standard of government. They're going to start looking for what the maximum standard of government for drinking water is. And I don't care who's doing it. Like, a lot of those cities start buying their own bottled water. I don't want to risk it. I don't want whatever's going down the drain into the aquifer. Use some other method, distillation, what have you. I don't believe it's worth the risks.
Okay. And Mike, what's going up in New York? They're going up there?
And the petition itself isn't banning it. It's just making it so that the citizens of Volusia County get a vote on it in the upcoming election.
Wait, say it again?
I said that the petition itself isn't to ban it. It's to give the citizens of Volusia County an opportunity to ban it. It's just saying that we don't believe it should be up to the city officials of the multiple cities of Volusia County to say whether or not we all have to drink each other's recycled feces. It's saying that we should have the option to put it to a vote.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's what Let Volusia Vote's trying to do, just to have the option to put it to a vote, or no?
It's to put it on the ballot. So if it goes on the ballot, we'll have the opportunity to ban it in Volusia County.
Okay. All right. And Mike, it's kind of happening in New York already too, right?
Well, New York, like many cities, has recycled water. The major cities, you're talking like your LA, your Seattle, Boston, Chicago, the big cities. We're talking 1 million people or more. Most of them do have recycled wastewater plants. So it's something that you don't really hear people talk about because it's kind of unpleasant. But it is something that's pretty common in larger cities, in our mega cities, and not so much in smaller ones. So that's a little surprising to me. And, I have to admit, I didn't really think about it as, I never thought of it as, oh yeah, the government screws up everything and they always go for the minimum standard because they don't know how to do anything better. And that means the water is screwed. And Gabe, I got to give it to you. I hadn't thought of that until you mentioned it. And then it suddenly just light went off and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's miserable. That's horrendous.
Yeah, the goalpost is going to keep moving.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So down here, the city of Daytona Beach, at their last commission meeting, is going to have a document drawn up by the city attorney that states that they are wholly against doing this, and are going to present that letter to the county council, who also is moving to act against this. My understanding is that what you have heard as well, Gabe?
Most of the county council is against it. There were some weird comments, like Jake Johansson saying that it was comparable to putting regulations on flying cars. It's not something we really need to worry about, even though he's running for the same office I am, and they're already starting to implement it in Brevard County, which is part of the district we're both running for. So I don't think it's as hard to believe as flying cars. I think it's a real issue that should be tackled at the base and nip it in the bud.
Okay. I just Googled this, and they are moving against it in the manner of having a charter amendment and a county ordinance to ban sewage from making its way toilet to tap. So that's what they're doing, and the city of Daytona Beach is on board with the county council. Now, there's on the western part of this county, Deltona, a city called Deltona, is going to shoot theirs into the aquifer. And of course, they're going to shoot it so far into the earth that it's never going to be a problem, which of course is, you tell by the tone of my voice, that is simply not true.
Yeah, you should be careful with that, though. Another one of my opponents is being sued for stuff he said about the city of Deltona regarding that.
Come at me. There's this First Amendment thing. Plus, I like the politicians out there. They're fine. The mayor is a good guy, Santiago. I like him. He's got financial issues and things like that, but I like him. Santiago Avila. At any rate, yeah. So they're going to shoot it under the aquifer. They say it's going to be so far down that it's not anything to worry about. But how many times have we heard, we're putting this in the earth and it's going to be contained? Don't you worry. And then 20 years later, we're all worrying because it's not really contained. So I think that's a very good idea, guys. If you're listening from Deltona, it's not a good idea.
It's just like if you give a mouse a cookie.
What do you mean?
You never seen that book? If you give a mouse a cookie,
no.
Soon he'll want a glass of milk. If you give him a glass of milk, he'll want to come inside. Basically, the moral of the story is he'll keep wanting more because you keep giving him more, which is
like a progressive.
What?
Like a what?
Like a progressive.
Yeah,
they
right.
always want more.
Exactly.
Yeah. All government.
Pretty much any party in favor of any government.
Yeah. Would you drink that water? Absolutely not. See, that's the thing, man. If they were to do that, how you just can't buy, copious amounts of bottled water. Like, what do you do? Like, your filter is, you can't trust your filter. I mean, so like, what do you do? It's such a bad idea. I'm so glad that the government down here is getting it right and is going to move against it. But they admitted at the they admitted at the city commission meeting in Daytona Beach. The state wants it, they could override it. So this, it might be up to the state in the long run. Yeah, Shelley, I remember when the Love Canal was safe. Yes, the Love Canal had a lot of problems. I was only about 10 or 12, I believe, when that happened, but I heard all about it. So I don't know the particulars, but yes, I know they had a lot of problems. Supposedly was safe. People had to move and all that kind of stuff. Do you remember, Mike, what that was?
I'm a little bit younger than you.
Yeah.
So if you were about 10, I was in single digits. I don't really remember it. I know what happened basically, but I don't.
Yeah, same. Yep. But basically, it was supposed to be safe and it wasn't. And yes.
Yeah.
Would you drink water from cremation? No, I would not. Drinking grandma? I would not. I think some folks are just talking amongst themselves there. But yeah, no, to answer that question, I would not. All right, folks. Well, what's that?
Not if you told me about it ahead of time. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All righty.
Milk mix.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been great. We went down some amazing roads this evening. I love it. I love the broad span of conversation that we have, and the conversation that's happening out on the chat has been great. I love everybody's contributions. And all you folks out there around the world that are watching this evening, I appreciate you guys being here as well. Gabe, I appreciate you stepping in for Joe this evening. You are now the official man off the bench for this show.
All right.
And Mike, I know you're still dealing with your back, and you came through again. I appreciate that as well.
Hopefully it wasn't too distracting for everybody, but I made it through.
No, you did good. And thank you, man. Joel, you're great. I love the contributions. Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody out there. I don't know where in the world you are or what time it is in your neck of the woods, but no matter the time, I hope you had a good time this time. Until next time, we will see you